That awesome feeling when you don't know if your stream has started, so you just start talking and saying words. You stare at the YouTube screen, hoping that eventually it's going to kick into gear. And there it is. You see, that's why we do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Simon is Pro Wrestling Gaming / The Week in Gaming. That's what it would read if it was written down. Obviously, all of this is a load of codswallop, as is professional wrestling. However, we are only a few hours away from WWE Hell in a Cell 2017, and therefore we should predict the damn cards. We didn't do a podcast this week, so I thought I was going to save it. I thought I'd save it till now and tie into that buzz, tie into the SmackDown buzz about WWE Hell in a Cell. There's no background this time because it's late on a Sunday. I have to set all that up. I'm like, not on a Sunday, man. Not on my watch. So instead, you can see some of my weird wrestling pictures in the background. You can see my green screen, which I know is very exciting for everybody. You can see my guitar. Imagine you tuned in to listen to wrestling. I'm just describing things you can already see. Oh gosh, wait, what is that? Okay, someone let me know if the sound's all right, because all of a sudden it's gone nuts in my ear. And that shouldn't be happening. You may have a feedback loop now. If you have a feedback loop, let me know in the comments, and I'll panic, because I don't know why that just happened. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run through the cards. I got the live chat open here now. I want everyone to throw your predictions in there, throw your ideas, and we'll do this. And we'll do this together. We'll start off with Ovid. I can't pronounce your name. I'm so sorry, but Ovidiu Cosmin. Sorry, has asked how wrestling training is going. So we will start there, because sound is fine. Thank you, Noel Spence. We'll start there because I am back at pro wrestling training. I've done 2 sessions at Progress now. We did flip bumps, and I went over fine. One person even said to me, "Man, Miller, you get a lot of height on your flip bumps." So I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm pretty excited about pro wrestling training once a few things sort themselves out. We won't talk about that here. So, yeah. Pro wrestling training is going good. I'm very excited about the future of pro wrestling training, more so than I ever have been, which I think is important as I try and stifle some wind. Don't eat before you do a live stream. Rushy HD, what's up, Simon? Just pumped and ready for Hell in a Cell. Right, let's get on with it. So, John Bill says, do you see yourself more as a heel or face? We'll do a live stream about pro wrestling training in the week. So save your questions for then. Keep an eye on my Twitter. So, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we can talk about that then. We won't do that here just because if somebody has tuned in to just get Hell in a Cell predictions, but we will do that. I have a lot to talk about when it comes to pro wrestling training. But no, as a headline, I had a session and I was like, I remembered a lot. I was like, you can do this, Simon. You can do this. So yeah, end of this year. Let's see what happens. Right, somebody asked they want to start with the main event. Okay, we'll start with the main event. Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens in a Falls Count Anywhere Hell in a Cell match. Now, we all know the Falls Count Anywhere stipulation is ridiculous because the whole point of a Hell in a Cell match is you put 2 people in a cell because there's some kind of shenanigans and you want to stop them getting out in the cell because some kind of feud needs to, it needs to have a line drawn under it. We need to move on. So that's stupid, and we only know the reason they've done that is because Shane McMahon is going to do something ridiculous. And for some reason, they feel like they need to have... there's 2 ways you can see this. If you listen to the Wrestling Observer, they came up with quite a good idea that maybe whatever plan they had for this Hell in a Cell match, Shane kind of, took a step back and went, maybe this isn't such a good idea. So maybe it's going to be a pre-tape segment and Kevin Owens will get the pin in the backstage segment. I think the problem you have if you do that is you want to see this live, right? That's where the adrenaline comes from. That's when the rush comes from. That's when the, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that comes from. If you just see it on a video screen, that's like a movie or a TV show. I think the aspect of a big stunt in pro wrestling is the fact you can see it live and you kind of see it transpire in front of your eyes. So why they had to make it Falls Count Anywhere, I don't know. Again, maybe it was because at WrestleMania 32, when Shane McMahon did do the big jump off the cell, there was this whole schmoz afterwards where Undertaker to drag him into the ring, and that was rubbish. So there's every chance they just don't want to do that. It's not a problem. I don't want Shane to kill himself, so I hope he doesn't do anything too bad. What I'm mostly worried about is who is going to win. Shane McMahon cannot win this match. That's nothing against Shane McMahon. I don't mind Shane McMahon being in these matches because I actually think he elevates the person he's with because he's Shane McMahon, right? He's going to have a spotlight set on him. This will probably be the main event. I don't think Jinder versus Shinsuke is going to be the main event. I did think it helped when he worked with AJ Styles. It didn't help when he worked with The Undertaker. That's The Undertaker. However, I don't think somebody like Kevin Owens working with Shane McMahon is a bad thing. It is, though, if Shane McMahon wins, because we don't know if wrestling is fake yet, blah, blah, blah. But still, when you buy into what we're seeing, Kevin Owens is a veteran pro wrestler, former Universal Champion, won loads of belts, kicked ass in NXT. Shane McMahon is an owner of a company, or a general manager, or a commissioner, whatever you want to call him. If he then beats a wrestler, that's bad. And I know he's done it in the past. He beat Big Show, didn't he? He beat Steve Blackman, I believe. Probably beat Kurt Angle a couple of times as well. That's a different era. It's a different time now. I don't think Shane McMahon can win this match. So that's the only problem. And I think Kevin Owens has got so much good momentum off the back of this that I don't want that to be extinguished. And it would be extinguished with a loss. Now, the other problem with that is apparently going into Survivor Series, we are going to get Team Kevin Owens versus Team Shane McMahon. And by that logic, you imagine whoever wins the final... I don't know. I think whoever wins the final match is the person that you're going to get behind, right? So you could say that Kevin Owens is going to win there. So WWE may think, well, Shane McMahon can win here because we're going to, have more matches in this feud. But I think that's bad. I think Kevin Owens needs to win. I don't want Shane McMahon to do anything too crazy because even though it's amazing to see, I'm getting older, and the older I get, the more worried I get about people. I think it will go on last. I think it will be the main event. I think it's going to be really good. I think it is going to be a lot of smoke and mirrors, but it's fine. It's a Shane McMahon match in a Hell in a Cell. What else would you expect? I do think it'll be good. I think it'll be silly if it doesn't go on last, just because they can't not give us something now. You can't put Shane McMahon in this environment and not build up a certain amount of anticipation. So in that sense, if he doesn't do anything, we're going to be disappointed. Therefore, let's assume that he is going to do something. You cannot put this anywhere but the main event because you're just going to ruin the rest of the show. For anyone else. Jerry McWilliams says, Owen gets a heel stable and takes over SmackDown, but who with, though? I can't see that happening. I think if they were going to do the whole Kevin Owens taking over SmackDown deal, they would have done it leading up to this match, because now there doesn't really seem to be a reason. That's what Vince McMahon would have to have come back to have done. David Ayres says, if he wins, it won't really hurt Owens, but I don't think Vince is going to bleed just for Shane to get the good feel. I don't know. I can't answer that one. Because and I know we shouldn't listen to rumour and innuendo and all that nonsense, because who actually knows what's going on? However, the rumour was this was more done because Shane was involved, as opposed to the fact they wanted to give Kevin Owens a push, and Vince McMahon is happy to kind of throw Kevin Owens back to the wolves when all is said and done. But we don't know. Daniel M, are you staying up to watch Miller? No, I'm old. I can't. I'll be ruined for the whole week. I'll get up early tomorrow and watch it, and then you can see me up those downs over on What Culture Wrestling, so make sure you prepare yourself for that. Now, this is something we should talk about before we move on. King of Nothing says, do you reckon Sami Zayn will turn heel and team with KO? A lot of people have said that just because Sami Zayn has kind of been an afterthought, or, he's had some participation in the feud. I mean, Sami Zayn as a heel seems like a terrible idea to me, because of everybody you've got on the roster, the most likable and accessible babyface is Sami Zayn. And given you're not really using him, to then turn him heel and team him with Kevin Owens, a guy he hates, I think would be terrible. But I would rather that, though. I'd rather that than what I believe the plan to be, which is I only think Sami Zayn exists in this bubble because it was a good way to get to week. Because at one point they had a good few weeks before Hell in a Cell. So, no, I don't... I could be wrong. I mean, they could swerve us. Look, Kevin Owens potentially has a Survivor Series match at Survivor Series, so maybe Sami Zayn could team him up there. It gives Sami Zayn something to do. It acts as what's the word I'm looking for? It's a shock, a surprise. I mean, it makes no sense within the context of the evening, but you've got SmackDown to try and explain it. I wouldn't be massively against it because it would be fun. But again, do I need to see Sami Zayn help out Kevin Owens to beat Shane McMahon? Probably not. That's my only thing. I want to see Kevin Owens win strong, even if it is the same way Undertaker won. Bit different, but Undertaker won kinda because Shane McMahon went for a silly move and got beat. As long as Kevin Owens gets the 1, 2, 3, that's all I really care about here, if we're buying in to the product that is presented to us. John Dexter says, rumour is Owens is going to Raw. I hope they don't do that. I mean, SmackDown needs all the stars they can get. I mean, it would be good for Kevin Owens, so I'd enjoy it in that sense. But SmackDown cannot lose any stars. What I would do is I'd have Kevin Owens beat Shane McMahon, and I'd put everything behind Kevin Owens. He's a great heel. People like him, I know, but he's a great heel, and you could do so much more with him in the right guys. So that's what I'd like. My prediction is Kevin Owens, even though a big part of me is worried it's going to be Shane McMahon. I don't know whether Sami Zayn gets involved or not. Killian Wallace says Zayn is more likely to help Shane, I think. Yeah, I could see that. That makes more sense to me, especially if then Kevin Owens does win because he slayed 2 people. Again, doesn't help Sami Zayn at all, but at this juncture, what are they doing with Sami Zayn? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, which is bad, but let's take the scenario that we've got, which hopefully is putting more substance behind Kevin Owens and making sure Kevin Owens comes out of Hell in a Cell feeling like a big deal. As you can tell, I'm a big Kevin Owens fan. I want Kevin Owens to do well. Mac Johnson, Sammy would do wonders on the Cruiserweight roster. I don't want to see that. There are some guys like Kalisto I really wanted to see on 205 Live, and I'm glad they've gone. But Sami Zayn, to me, has all the potential to be one of the best baby faces on the main roster. I see where you're coming from, though. So, yeah, let me know in the comments who you're predicting. Shane McMahon. Miguel Pinner says Simon's forehead is brighter than my future. It's because the light is right there. I'm not using my studio lights. I just turned my lounge light on. Terrible lighting. Hence why it looks like I've never slept. But I don't care about stuff like that. So, yeah, let me know in the comments who you think is going to win. I'm going Kevin Owens. Make sure you go on over to Facebook, search for Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Podcast, and you can join the Facebook group and you can enter the prediction league there as well. The winner gets a prize. So make sure you do that. And of course, if you do want to support any of this nonsense, you can go to that little thing on screen, patreon.com/SimonMiller316, and all that glorious cash, helps me do all this stuff. We're not going to segue into Bobby Roode versus Ziggler there because that wasn't intentional. We are going to talk about the other main event, technically, which is Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. We've all said this. This is nothing new. The biggest problem with this match is it is a match that is designed for Hell in a Cell. The Singh brothers have been getting involved in all of Jinder's matches ever since he's been champion, and yet they haven't put it in a cell. I mean, there is every chance that during the pay-per-view it will come down. We've seen that before. I mean, we saw that all the way back at King of the Ring 98 when that happened in Stone Cold versus Kane. I know it didn't really tie into the match, but they still brought the cage down. So there's every chance they do that, and it does become a Hell in a Cell match. But why on earth would you have a Hell in a Cell match planned and not promote it? This is the problem with the Hell in a Cell gimmick pay-per-view anyway. You feel obliged to put matches in the cell. And I think Shane versus Kevin Owens will be good in hindsight because Shane will do something stupid. I don't mind the New Day and the the New Day and Usos being in a Hell in a Cell because I think they're very talented and I think they have good matches. But it seems silly to have a world title program with 2 people that aren't really clicking. There's not a lot of chemistry there. It doesn't massively feel like a WWE title program. And we're not using the massive prop that the pay-per-view is named after. That is crazy. I don't believe Jinder Mahal is having a good run as WWE's champion. I don't think it's his fault. I think he's been given terrible material. I think the whole racist stuff was awful. And he just doesn't progress or evolve. And again, that's on the material that he's given. And I also think because of that, it's watered and brought down Shinsuke Nakamura as well. This doesn't feel like a world title program to me. Hence why I actually think they shouldn't put this on last. And that, to me, that gut feeling is completely sums up that something has gone wrong. And the other thing is as well, I can't see Shinsuke Nakamura winning here. I mean, he could do. The big thing is that WWE are going to India with the Raw brand in December. You're going to want Jinder on that show. You're going to want Jinder on champion. So you can have Shinsuke win here and lose before December, but I don't think that works for him either. To me, you put the belt on Shinsuke Nakamura because you're getting behind Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't believe that's going to happen long term. And so, I mean, if he wins here, it's not going to feel like that much of a coronation. And if he loses, he's lost to Jinder Mahal, who, because he doesn't feel like WWE champion, it's not going to feel like Shinsuke's actually accomplished anything. And that's the problem I have with this whole feud. I mean, I don't even know what it's based on anymore. It's kind of based on the fact that Jinder was a bit racist to Nakamura. That's it. So that's the problem. And again, I don't blame Jinder and I don't blame Shinsuke. They've been put in a terrible situation. We all know what should have happened with Jinder. He should have been built up from scratch. But I mean, basically, you want AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal to swap places, right? You want AJ Styles, the best worker in the main event. You want Jinder, who they decided to give a push, building up, having good matches for the US title before he's eventually moved into the main event program. So I'm not excited about this at all, and I always think that's bad when you don't look forward to your WWE title program. Steel Koi Fish says, when do you think they will get Jinder to drop the title and to who? I really do think it could be Cena at WrestleMania next year. I think they could do that. I could foresee that. Otherwise, maybe Randy Orton. They've done that feud over and over. Maybe not. I don't know. AJ Styles, hopefully, that'd be my pick. I'd like AJ Styles to beat him. Maybe AJ Styles loses here. We'll get to that in a sec. And then he goes on to you know, the main event scene, which makes no sense because why would you drop the US title and then go on to the main event scene? But when does WWE ever make sense? Rushy HD, Jinder is definitely winning and I don't want it. No, I don't want it either, really. But then I don't want Shinsuke to win here either because I don't think that's a very good first world title winner. Maybe if I believe they're actually going to get behind him, then I'd be fine with it. But they're not because they're going to India in December, so the title is eventually going to go back onto Jinder. TEW with Liam says, reckon Jinder wins via shenanigans, then Bryan comes out and makes it a Hell in a Cell match. Yeah, I can see that happening. But if that does happen, then Shinsuke has to win, right? Imagine Jinder wins, shenanigans, Daniel Bryan comes out, restarts the match, and Jinder wins again. So Nakamura lost twice. It's just a lose-lose situation. That's the problem with this. It is a lose-lose situation. It hasn't been a good feud. Not the biggest fan of Jinder's title run. And made up for him, I think he's the personification of believe in yourself and go out and live your dreams. But it doesn't mean he's working as world champion. And again, I don't think it's his fault. I don't think he's been given a leg to stand on. I think he's the modern day Rey Mysterio. Just been given a prop and told to try and make it work. A lot of people mentioning the Indian market in the comments. Yeah, I get it. I understand it's a business. Doesn't mean that it's working. So I'm going to go with Jinder Mahal. I don't believe he's going to lose here. So if you want to keep up with the predictions, that's Kevin Owens and Jinder Mahal I'm going for, which is 2 heels, interestingly. So I'm going with 2 heels in the main event. PD Dog Gaming says, Nakamura should have won at SummerSlam and held on to it until December. That would have been better. That would have been better. Alas, we can't do that. Right, now we'll zoom forward to the start of the show, because from nowhere we've been given Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Hype Bros in a tag team match. The problem with putting anything on the pre-show is you can pretend it's part of the pay-per-view, but even you know that's not true WWE, because when the WrestleMania 33 DVD came out, it didn't have the pre-show on it. So that kind of sums up what people think of the pre-show. And that's a shame, because if you don't care, then the fans aren't going to care either. It's a real shame, because the New Day and the Usos probably have to have different feuds coming off the back of this. So whoever the champions are, I imagine Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin are going to win here. You should really have built them up to be a tag team ready to go, as opposed to... I don't mind the fact they were thrown together, but they were completely non-existent on some episodes of SmackDown. Now they're on a random match on the pre-show. That's not going to make them feel like world title contenders. And they're just probably going to be thrown into that feud. So that's the only real problem I have with this. I would guess this is the evening when the Hype Brothers break up, because then, you know, coming out of that, you can have a feud between Mojo and Zack Ryder. I don't agree with that either. I think SmackDown needs tag teams. The New Day and the Usos have been so good, the SmackDown tag titles actually feel like they mean something. So to have less teams is crazy. That's a crazy thing to do, but I imagine they'll break up. I actually quite like Mojo Rawley when he's not hyped up. And that's his whole gimmick. When he actually takes a step back and he's quite calm, I think he's quite a good character. JTGYK says Hype Bros going to fight each other and split. I'd probably agree. Eric Shun, I'd be extremely surprised if Hype Bros didn't split up. So yeah, we're all in the same boat here. We all think that's going to happen. Still Koi Fish, do you think they would give Ryder a heel push? From what I saw, it looked like they wanted to be Mojo the heel, right? I can't remember now. I kind of didn't care about this. I mean, if I was to choose, yeah, I'd try Zack as a heel. He's been that sort of face for too long. Maybe that's how he rejuvenates his career. I don't know. Tom Ransom says, all right, Simon. All right, Tom. Love of my life. Apple of my eye. DJ Chisel says, is Simon the greatest man that ever lived? Unfortunately, that's Austin Aries. But hopefully I'm in a close second. So I'm going to go with Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin here. The Hype Brothers break up. They go into feud. I mean, I guess it's good. It'll be all right TV going forward. Hopefully Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin will win. We don't put them straight into the tag team program, and we can actually build them up as a tag team. Because I really like... The best thing about that team is Chad Gable is an incredibly talented pro wrestler, right? I don't care how tall or big he is. He's really good in the ring. Shelton Benjamin is one of these weird veteran legends that has come back and just won me over completely. I don't know why I'm in love with him. I just love him. I love Shelton Benjamin, probably because I know how good he is, and I love the fact that he's come back. But I hope they build them up properly. That's what I want to see. But I go Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Jack Andrews, hi Simon, hello Jack. I'm loving the predictions so far. Yeah. I agree with all of your predictions. I feel that Zack would be a good heel. I think he has the range to do so. I don't think we've ever seen Zack Ryder as a heel. Somebody will now say, you're absolutely wrong, Simon, we have. But all I can remember from my, that immediacy I have is that he's been a face forever. So yeah, let's give him a heel run. Maybe that catches on. I mean, it may not do, but at least we're trying. And as you know, if you watch any of my What Culture stuff or anything, my big thing is Let's try something with these people, which is why I don't like the fact this tag match was just thrown onto the pre-show. We could have built up to it, and I think we saw it a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown. Anyway, Killian Wallace says, you love Sheldon because he's bald. I'm not baldest, man. You're hairist, but I'm not baldest. Mr. Dusk, going back to the last match, I want Nakamura to win. I think he is more talented than Jinder personally. I think Jinder's got talent. I just don't think it's used right. I think he was thrown into a situation he wasn't ready for. But who knows? A lot of people saying Zack was heel when he first debuted the woo-woo gimmick. That was ages ago. Wrestling moves so fast, that basically didn't exist. Okay, so again, to run down, we're going Kevin Owens, we're going Jinder Mahal, we're going Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Make sure to let me know who you think is going to go over in these matches. David Barley, Simon, is Jinder worse champion? Is Jinder worse as a champion than David Arquette? No, he's not. At least he's a professional wrestler. At least he looks like he could kick your ass. David Arquette was a movie star. Genuinely, top 3 worst decisions in pro wrestling history for me. Maybe I'll make that video one day. But it's in there. Let's now move on to Natalya versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE SmackDown's Women's Championship. I don't mind this match. If you've seen any of their past work, you know they're very good. They work very well together. While I don't like the Natalya character, I do think she's an incredible worker. This sounds morbid as all hell. I don't mean it this way. It's just a fact of life. Charlotte now feels more like a face than she ever has done because of everything that happened with her dad. It's just one of those things. The whole point of being a babyface is you need sympathy. And she never really had sympathy before because she was this really attractive, strong, athletic woman. It's like, well, I don't feel sympathy for you. You look like you could kick everybody's ass. Whereas now, because we had that real situation, that real scary, tragedy story with Ric Flair, who thank goodness, pulled through, all of a sudden you kind of warm to her. And that's what a babyface needs. So I think this is a great match. I think Natalya is a solid heel. But yeah, as people are saying in the comments right now, I think tonight is the night that Carmella should cash in her title for 2 reasons. Firstly, I don't necessarily think I'm that interested anymore. I'm glad I had a women's in the bank. Women's in the bank? Imagine that. Woman in the bank. That's weird. A Money in the Bank women's contest. However, I'm not that invested. I don't really care when she cashes in. So, given there's an opportunity to do something here, this is what I would do. Charlotte wins the title here tonight. Kind of foreshadowed on SmackDown when Natalya had the upper hand. Beat Charlotte 1, 2, 3. Charlotte wins the title. James Ellsworth comes down on his leash with Carmella. Carmella cashes in. Hopefully after there's been some kind of, I don't think Ric Flair will be there, but some kind of Charlotte going, this is for my dad. You put all the heat onto Carmella. Ric Flair would love that, so I'm not going to be offended by that because Ric Flair would be grinning like a Cheshire cat. Charlotte feels even more like a face because she got screwed over. Coming out of this, we can go straight into a Charlotte versus Carmella feud, which I think could be decent. I think you get some good promos. I think Charlotte will be able to carry Carmella to a good match. And we've got a feud like that. So there's a lot that can happen here. What will happen now is Natalya will just win. But that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Charlotte wins, Carmella cashes in. I'm not sure how that works in a prediction league. Do I still get a point if Charlotte just wins? I guess I don't. No, I guess I do. Yeah, because I still predicted she'd win the match between Natalya. The Charlotte versus Carmella match would be a different match. They do need to come up with new scenarios for the Money in the Bank winner. I've noticed that as well. I'm getting a bit bored of the edge cash-in, as we'll call it. So, that's a shame. Devia Nichols says Tamina should cost Charlotte the championship. Why? Why do you want that? I mean, good for you, but I don't know why you want that. A lot of people saying they want James Ellsworth to cash in. Just he's fine as the bit player. CJ Poirier, not pronouncing that right. I don't want Carmella to cash in just yet. I feel like Carmella could be the 2015 Seth Rollins and constantly tease the cash in and not have the gall to do it. Look, there is something to that, and that it is interesting. At the moment, I'm just a bit bored of it. I think I'm just bored of the whole concept, not necessarily the fact that she's doing it. But, yeah. So I'm going to go... again, we'll do this after each one. So if you are joining the stream, we're going Kevin Owens, Jinder Mahal, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, and Charlotte. My faces to heels balance now is a bit better. And then we move into AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin. It's a shame, isn't it? Because AJ Styles is obviously amazing. He's obviously probably one of the best, if not the best person in the company. I am a Baron Corbin fan. I know that makes me a bad person, but I think he does have potential. The problem is, I've thought he's had potential for a long time. You can't just have potential. You need to live up to that potential. Not seeing that at the moment. However, he does have badass new entrance themes. as Jim Johnson has come smashing back onto the WWE music scene and just absolutely kicked ass. I made a video about that, actually, just to do some pimping. If you go to my actual YouTube channel now, just click the Miller Report name and go to the videos. You can watch my video, Why Jim Johnson Should Be in the Hall of Fame. And it all spawned from Baron Corbin's new theme, because I was listening to it and just loving it. And it just made me realise the man has given any wrestling fan so much over, 20, 30 years? He so should go in the Hall of Fame. Like, music is so important and so integral to pro wrestling. Before you see anything, you've got the music. And he's been responsible for so much of that stuff. Yeah, I really like Baron... Short story, I really like Baron Corbin's new theme. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, my problem with AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin is that Baron Corbin has been booked so badly, it has put AJ Styles in a lose-lose situation. If AJ Styles... I've said this over and over, but we'll say it here again. If AJ Styles beats Baron Corbin... AJ Styles beat Baron... Everyone beats Baron Corbin. Ty Dillinger beat Baron Corbin. John Cena beat him, or whoever it was, for his Money in the Bank. He loses all the time. So if he wins, I go, okay, great. If Baron Corbin wins, I'm like, geez, Baron Corbin beat AJ Styles. And nobody beats Baron Corbin. So it only affects AJ. And that annoys me, because AJ Styles, again, is probably the best person in the company. He shouldn't be in that kind of a position. I mean, given the situation that we have... I would like Baron Corbin to win, because I want to get the US title off AJ Styles so he can move back into the WWE title picture. I'm just looking through the rest of the card, trying to think what WWE would actually do that. I mean, they do still like Baron Corbin. I know there's been some rumours that he annoyed some people. But at the same time, I don't see what AJ Styles done was that US title going forward. If Baron Corbin does win, Ty Dillinger beat him on SmackDown, you could transition into a Baron Corbin-Ty Dillinger feud. Not really up my street, but I know some people would like that. So I'll go Baron Corbin. I'll go Baron Corbin wins. I hope we don't even get a rematch between AJ Styles. Just move him into the main event picture as soon as we can. I'll take AJ versus Jinder. I'll take AJ versus anyone as long as he's in the main event. Because having AJ Styles not in the main event seems crazy to me. Maybe Ty Dillinger gets involved. Roberto Escobar, Ty Dillinger interferes and accidentally gives Corbin the win. But then you could do that. And then maybe at Survivor Series you have Styles versus Corbin versus Dillinger. Then Styles can swerve away from that, and then you can move into Corbin versus Dillinger, and then you're not just doing Corbin versus Styles again, which I do have a problem with. I just think it's boring. We'll see. I go Baron Corbin. It's just a feud that's not lit up the world at all is the problem. But I'll go Baron Corbin. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try and adjust this. Is that going to make it better? Maybe. Before we get to more matches, let's predict the Fashion File segment, which very frustratingly was just stolen away from us on SmackDown. We were told, tune into SmackDown to see it, and we didn't. I would like it to be the Authors of Pain. I don't think it is going to be the Authors of Pain now, because they've just been booked in War Games on NXT, so that would be a bit silly. So I'll take Harper and Eric Rowan. It's not the most interesting thing in the world, but maybe we don't even get it revealed here. Maybe it's just a silly skit for the pay-per-view. If we are going to get it revealed, though, I'll take the old Wyatt family. I mean, the fact Luke Harper is just out in the woods is nuts. He's one of the best people on the roster, and he's a big dude. WWE loves big dudes. So I think that's bizarre. So, I mean, let me know what you think is going to happen with the Fashion Files segment. I'll go, it's Harper and Rowan. I'll enjoy, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the segments, because I think Breezango are hilarious, and I think they deserve to be pushed to the moon, but I don't know what the payoff here is. And then we get to Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler. This is... The problem I have with this match is, it is a match over entrances, which is kind of funny and kind of quirky, but it doesn't really have the gravitas you maybe want from seeing Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler. But on top of that, it's how formulaic it is. You get called up from NXT and you go down the Baron Corbin, you go down the Dolph Ziggler route. So what does that make Dolph Ziggler? He's just like what's the word people use? Like a stopgap. You get through Dolph Ziggler and then you'll get your proper feud. I mean, Dolph Ziggler can't win this because, again, he's been booked so badly. That's just going to ruin Bobby Roode's momentum completely. Bobby Roode actually does have some momentum because people love his entrance, which is enough to get you over, of course. It always has been. So, yeah, do I think... And this should... On paper, this should be a good match. But my gut tells me maybe it's not going to be. I'm a bit worried it's going to be a bit disappointing. I think Bobby Roode will win. But maybe they've got to do maybe they're going to build this to past Survivor Series. I don't know. So maybe you can't have Bobby Roode winning the feud continue. With WWE you can, but you shouldn't have Bobby Roode winning the feud continue because Ziggler in this scenario is the heel, which I find bizarre. Bobby Roode being a heel face. Come on, Simon, because it makes no sense with his character. But yeah, I mean, given the names involved, I should care about this a lot more. And a small part of me does kind of hope they steal the show in a, oh, thank goodness they proved me wrong kind of the way. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because these two are awesome. But we'll see. Killian Wallace makes a good point. Is Dolph Ziggler going to do an entrance? Because technically he should steal Bobby Roode's entrance, but that would suck, because then you get that entrance twice. And obviously, the impact of an entrance is when you first hear that music and you go, oh, and you stand up. And people aren't going to know that Dolph Ziggler's parodying it. So that would actually take away from Bobby Roode's entrance. So it's just, again, it kind of falls into AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin territory, where two people have been put together, but maybe that's not necessarily good for the long-term booking ideas. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, Bobby Roode is in for a world title run next year, so I don't think he loses this. We'll go Bobby Roode. And that kind of balance, I'm looking through the card now, that kind of balances my heel-face dynamic, which is important because WWE does like to keep that balanced. So yeah, we'll go Bobby Roode. We'll see. Master Blaster, yo, what's up, Simon? How's life? Life's good. Life's always good when you're Simon Miller. Put a smile on your face and rock on forward. We've got 2 more matches. Let's do that one last. Let's do the New Day versus the Usos. The other match is in a Hell in a Cell, bizarrely. Mostly because the Usos keep saying they're in a penitentiary. So WWE's like, okay, we'll put you in a penitentiary. However, it is hard to criticize this match too much because it's going to be really good. The chemistry these two have, the promos they cut, the freedom they give each other is just tremendous. So I'm very, very excited to see this match. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be brutal. Hopefully it goes on before the Shane McMahon match. So I don't think that has as a bigger spot as that one will have because Shane McMahon will take priority. It could open the show. I'm all right. If you're going to do 2 Hell in a Cells, I'm more than happy with them being kept as far apart as possible. Have one to open, have one to close. It's a bit silly, but I've got no problem with that in terms of pacing. This probably is going to be the best match on the show, I think, in terms of sort of out-and-out wrestling. I think they'll come up with some really interesting ideas. I don't know who's going to win. If I'm picking Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin to be number 1 contenders, then technically the Usos should win. And that works on 2 levels, because 1, face heel. 2, the rumour has been for a while that WWE wants to make sure that New Day breaks all the records, right? All the tag team title records. So while hot-potatoing that title around is bad, it does mean eventually you can put it back on the New Day. They then rack up another world title win, and you're on the way. So I'm going to go the Usos win here. And I'm all right with that. I kind of think this is a good situation. The fact whoever wins, we all win. Because whoever comes out as champion is going to feel like a tag team champion. And that's the best thing about Raw and SmackDown at the moment. While SmackDown does need more depth when it comes to tag teams, it feels like the belts matter. They've done a great job in building those up. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to be good. I'm going to go with the Usos. Again, let me know in the comments who you think is going to win this one. Because I actually think you could argue this both ways. So I'll be intrigued to get a consensus view. Someone who's just gone out the comments says, is there an Aiden English versus Sin Cara match? Or someone just made that up? Surely Aiden English is going to be involved in the other match that I've saved till last that we'll get to in a second. But let me know who you think. But yeah, it's going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to it. And I really don't think it matters who wins in terms of whatever's next. You could do the New Day versus Gable and Benjamin. I mean, it's a bit weird, but you could heal one of them up. You couldn't turn the New Day heel now. They're too much of one of those acts that everyone's just going to love. Max says, what New Day combo do you want in the match? Isn't Xavier Woods injured? Am I making that up? I think he's injured. So I think it's going to be Kofi Kingston and Big E. That's fine. They're just a great unit, so I'm not massively bothered about who does that. PD Dog Games says, have Chad and Shelton turn heel. I don't think Chad Gable can be a heel at this juncture, or Shelton Benjamin. They're too athletic in the ring. If you turn them heel, you're taking away their potential to do those crazy spots they do in the ring that people like. And I don't think that benefits them. So I wouldn't necessarily do that. Okay, last match of the night. Well, not the night, the last match for the predictions. It is Randy Orton versus Rusev. Now, this match means more to me than anything because I don't want Rusev to lose. And I'm pretty sure Rusev's going to lose given everything we've seen. Given that Randy Orton has had a terrible year at this point, through no fault of his own, once again, someone that's just been given terrible material over and over again, despite who he is. But I just don't want Rusev to lose. Rusev always loses, and Rusev, to me, whether you agree with me or not, and it's cool if you don't, I don't mind, but Rusev is the most entertaining person on that roster. He can be babyface, he can be heel, no matter what material you give him. Don't forget the whole Lana, Summer Rae, Ziggler stuff when he made that absolutely incredible. He's just great. And I do think a loss here hurts him because he just never wins these fights. And on the flip side to that, if he beats someone like Randy Orton properly and not with some schmoz from Made in English, and the commentators put it over as such, and SmackDown on Tuesday put it over as such, Rusev will start to feel like a big deal again. That bit on SmackDown when Renee Young came up to him and said, you must feel elated or whatever, and he went, what does that mean? He's just the best. He's just so entertaining. I watch wrestling to be entertained. And I think this feud has been great. I love Rusev Day. I love the Mayor of Bulgaria. I loved all the 8 English songs. I thought Randy Orton's been good. I just hope somewhere backstage Randy Orton this evening is trying to tell someone, like Jericho used to do. Apparently the rumour is that Jericho would always say, no, he has to go over. If that's what you want to do, let me put him over. So I really hope Rusev wins. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go with him. I'm going to go with Randy Orton because I'm following my gut on this one. And I like to have good predictions. I like to win, even if there is no cardboard belt involved. But I like to do well. So I do think Rusev loses. It'll just crush me when it happens because I just love him. I just want it. Anyone that's that entertaining, I want to be in a good spot on the card. So yeah, again, let me know in the comments before we wrap this up what you think. Just to run through, this is not going to be in the order we did it because it's not the order I've got it written down. But yes, if you're keeping tabs at home, and I always keep tabs on my predictions, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Hype Bros, I'm going Gable and Benjamin. Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens, I'm going Kevin Owens. Jinder versus Shinsuke, I'm going Jinder. New Day versus the Usos, I'm torn, but I'm going to go the Usos. Natalya, Charlotte, I'm going Charlotte. Plus, as an extra, Carmella cashes in and wins. AJ Styles versus Corbin, I'm going Corbin, but I'm not sure on that one at all. Bobby Roode versus Ziggler, Roode, pretty confident. And Randy Orton versus Rusev. It pains me to go with Randy Orton, but I just think he's going to lose. And I know Randy Orton wants to be a heel, but there's no turn here. There's nothing you can do here to shift things around, or not that I can see anyway. Maybe somebody more creative than I. And I will come up with it. Right, so just before we do wrap up, if you've got any questions about the pay-per-view or you want to have your say, make sure you do that now, and I'll waffle for a bit as I just wait for the stream to catch up with itself, because I understand how live streaming works. I think overall, though, in terms of the pay-per-view, do I think it's going to be good? I think it's a shame, because given that it's Hell in a Cell, and Hell in a Cell feels so watered down, much like Money in the Bank does, it's a shame it doesn't feel more exciting because, you know, when you got a Hell in a Cell match as a wrestling fan, you should be pretty pumped. I do think the 2 Hell in a Cell matches will be good, though, and hopefully a few of the other ones will surprise us, too. PMUS97 says, worst match of the night. Probably Shinsuke versus Jinder, if we're honest. And again, I don't put that down to those guys. I just think they got no momentum. And you just know the finish is going to involve the Singh brothers, and that is going to steal away whatever else they do because it's way too predictable. And I think that's a shame. Master Blaster, what do you think should be the main event? Again, I definitely think it should be Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens, because Shane McMahon's going to do something crazy, and you don't want to try and follow that. The fans won't care. And if you put that last as well, you keep the fans' interest because they assume something's going to happen. So I would definitely put the Shane McMahon Hell in a Cell match on last. Nickel Chowdhury, do you think the Fashion Files can turn heel? They're too funny. They're too entertaining. And I wouldn't want to see that. You know, they're the quintessential good guys. Eve 18, do you think there'll be a surprise Cell match? I think potentially you can get it in Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura. But again, I find that bonkers because A, it made sense before we even went in. And also, you're not advertising a Hell in a Cell match on Hell in a Cell. Is that going to get any more buys or any more watches? Probably not. But still, that seems like bizarre promoting to me. Kimmy Martinez, do you think that Usos versus New Days will be the match of the night? Considering it will be a Hell in a Cell match. Yes, if I had to predict, I would say that will be the match of the night. Maybe closely followed by Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens in terms of a spectacle. I do think it would be a spectacle. Johnny D predicts that Rusev wins an Orton double turn. Orton wins by shenanigans and Rusev wins the blow-off at Survivor Series. I'd love to see it. I think you're being way too optimistic, but I like optimism. So good for you. Nikhil Chowdhury again. Will Aiden get involved in Randy versus Rusev? I mean, he's got to, right? He's got to be there in some capacity, even if he gets sent away by the referee. He can't have been involved for all these weeks and then just not turn up for the pay-per-view. That would make no sense. Devian Nichols, do you think any guys from NXT could debut soon? If so, who? Well, I thought the Authors of Pain, right? But now they're in the War Games match. Unless that's their final NXT match, they're going to do double duty for a while. But other than that, no. I think NXT is quite solid at the moment. I'd keep everyone down there. Bobby Roode has only just come up, really. He wasn't on TV for 2 or 3 weeks. He's only been up for about 4 weeks. So I don't think we need to bring anybody else, especially because we've got Oscar coming to Raw in October, November. It's October, right? So a few weeks. I don't think we need any more call-ups. Max, what if Roderick Strong debuts at the pay-per-view to cost Roode the match? It wouldn't work because the main roster fan base won't understand who the hell Roderick Strong is. There is a big difference between an NXT fan and a SmackDown fan, so I don't think that will happen. Shaun of the Dead, my man, will Kevin Owens be going straight to Raw after Hell in a Cell? It's a great question because it could happen, right? And if your plans are to send him to Raw, I guess he would lose, because he'd have to lose, and then Shane McMahon sends him on his way. It's not great, is it? It's not great at all, because even though I like Kevin Owens on Raw, he'd probably get lost in the shuffle more because of the star power. It's going to hurt SmackDown's ratings. They've got no stars on there. It's bad all round. It's bad all round. So let's not do that. Killian Wallace, if he does go to Raw, who do you think could move the other way? John Cena? If you're trying to balance it out and actually get people to watch SmackDown, I don't know. Who would I move? Who's lost their way? You can't move the Shield guys. Miz ain't going to move. That'd be ridiculous. Braun Strowman's not going to move. There's no one. Don't move Kevin Owens to Raw. It's a bad idea. He needs to be on SmackDown. That brand needs him. Nick Kyle says, will Sami Zayn have involvement as Shane's KO? We did that. I think maybe, but I'm not entirely... Like, Aiden English, I'm dead set will be involved. I think Sami Zayn was mostly used as a buffer. But we'll see. Someone just suggested moving Samoa Joe to SmackDown. That is a fair trade, but I think it hurts Samoa Joe. That's my only worry. Max says, I wish we got the Joe Owens Triple H stable. I know, right? I predicted that like a year ago, and it would have been really good. Put Charlotte in there, it would have been wonderful. But WWE never do my ideas. They'll never do. So, right, before we wrap up, let's try and predict what Shane McMahon's big spot is going to be. He can't jump off the cell. He's done that. So, in my mind, the only thing we've never seen, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we've never seen someone climb up on the inside and fall down, right? We've never seen that. The problem with that is, it can't be that, because why would we have a Falls Count Anywhere stipulation if he was going to fall? So he is going to jump off it again, I guess. Which is, I mean, it's always impressive. I guess he can't jump. No. He can't jump off it. Kevin Owens has to throw him off the cell. We have to have a King of the Ring 1998 all over again. He has to. It can't be of his own, because we've seen him now do it of his own devices. We now need to see him get attacked. Then how the hell do you do that without him getting absolutely killed? I don't know. But that's not my job. My job isn't to come up with the stunt stuff. So I'm going to say the big spot is Kevin Owens does actually, unless it's a big swerve, maybe Kevin Owens takes the bump. Because then technically you could argue, if Kevin Owens takes the big bump, Shane McMahon could beat him. Hate that idea. But at least it would tie into the story, and it wouldn't be as bad as like Shane McMahon winning with a leg drop or something. Devian Nichols says, a shooting star press through 2 tables from the top to the ring. I don't think that's going to happen. But now, as for fun, I'm going to say, yeah, Kevin Owens takes the big bump. I think that's much more fun. Kevin Owens takes the big bump. Okay. Thank you very much for watching my Hell in a Cell prediction show. We are going to do this every month. So TLC's next, right? So make sure on the Sunday before TLC around 8 p.m. UK time, keep an eye on my Twitter at SimonO316 and just come join. I think it's awesome. Hang out. We'll just predict some matches. Follow me on Twitter if you don't already at SimonO316. Search for Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Podcast on Facebook. Join that group. If you want to listen to this as audio as well, make sure you search for Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Podcast in iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, whatever does podcasts. Go. It should all be there. If it's not, let me know. What else can you do? You can support me on Patreon. That's how I'm able to do all this stuff, because I'm able to treat it as a job, which is wonderful. That's just patreon.com/Simon316. Even if everyone just gave me $1, which is like, 60p, it helps me exponentially. And, of course, thank you to everyone that does support me. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel that you're on right now. More content will be going up tomorrow. Maybe we'll do another live stream to talk about the pay-per-view. Tweet me at Simon316 to let me know if you'd like to see that. And yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for all the nice comments that I'm seeing now. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy Hell in a Cell. I'll be doing ups and downs for Hell in a Cell tomorrow on What Culture, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. It's not the greatest card in the world. It's not the best hype ever, but it's still a pay-per-view. We're still alive. We're still healthy. They're all good things, right? I think so. Anyway, let me know what you think of the show tomorrow morning, because I can always take that information and use it elsewhere. And usually YouTube cuts the stream off. So now I'm just waffling, because I'm hoping that actually when I do cut off, it will end where I wanted it to end, as opposed to just stopping. But we will see. Thank you for watching. I really enjoyed this. We'll definitely do it again for 2 weeks' time for TLC. We can moan about the Shield, because I've got a bit of a problem with it now. But we'll talk about that when it comes around. Enjoy Hell in a Cell, and we'll see you very soon.